the shocking truth about women and what they really want. Here's something most men won't tell you. Women don't want you to be a nice guy. The truth is, the more you try to please them, the more you push them away. Sounds harsh, right? But the fact is, if you want a woman to think about you, miss you, and crave your presence, you need to adopt a completely different mindset, one that has nothing to do with being overly accommodating or constantly trying to win her approval. Men are taught to believe that the secret to attracting women is in being available, offering endless compliments, or bending over backward to meet her needs. That's not just outdated advice, it's damaging. Here's the reality. Women crave unshakable men. Men who are confident in their purpose, indifferent to the outcome, and who live their lives with strength and certainty are the ones who get their attention and keep it. If you want to make a woman miss you badly, you need to become the kind of man who has his own life, doesn't beg for validation, and isn't afraid of losing her. But here's where it gets even more controversial. Your ability to make her miss you has little to do with how nice or romantic you are, and everything to do with how emotionally independent and mentally strong you are. The mindset you carry is what truly makes a difference. The moment you shift from being a man who chases validation to being one who has control over his emotions, that's when women will start to crave your presence. In the coming sections, I'll walk you through the steps to transform the way you approach women in relationships, turning you into a man who is genuinely unshakable, someone women can't stop thinking about. If you're ready to stop being just another guy and step into a whole new level of attraction, let's dive in. 1. Stop chasing, start living. Here's the cold, hard truth. When you chase a woman, you lose her. Sounds simple, but most guys don't get it. Chasing her constantly makes you look needy, and that's not attractive. Instead of constantly pursuing her, focus on your own life and purpose. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start gaining respect, not just from her, but from everyone around you. Think about it. If you're always trying to get her attention, you're giving off the vibe that she's the center of your world. But when you stop chasing and start living your life fully, you become the center of your own world. Women are naturally drawn to men who are living with purpose and passion. When you're busy building your own life, you're not worried about whether she texts you back or not. Your life doesn't revolve around her, and that's what makes you more attractive. Imagine this. You've been texting a girl for a while. At first you're excited and you keep hitting her up, hoping she'll reply fast. But then you realize something. You've been texting her all day and she's not as responsive. Instead of sending another message, you decide to focus on your hobbies or hit the gym. By the next day, she's the one reaching out to you, wondering why you've been distant. The energy has shifted, and now she's curious about what you've been up to. This is how it works. Women want what they can't easily get. When you're always available and chasing them, they don't feel like they have to put in the effort to keep your attention. But when you have your own life, suddenly you become more valuable to her. The key is to stop prioritizing her over your own goals. Focus on the things that matter to you, your career, your health, your passions. When you stop chasing her, you'll be surprised at how much more interested she becomes. Women want a man who's moving forward in life, not one who's stuck waiting around for them. So start living with purpose. Stop chasing and watch how it changes everything. 2. Why women don't want a nice guy. We've all heard it. Be a nice guy and she'll fall for you. But the truth is, being too nice is often the quickest way to get ignored. Why? Because women don't crave nice guys. They crave real men. Being nice doesn't make you special. In fact, it makes you predictable and boring. The nice guy mentality is rooted in the idea that if you do enough good things for her, she'll feel obligated to like you. But this is where most men get it wrong. Women are not looking for someone to rescue them or shower them with constant validation. They want a man who's strong, confident, and knows what he wants. A nice guy often ends up being a doormat, constantly seeking approval, afraid of upsetting her, and putting her needs above his own. That's not attractive. Think about the guys who get the most attention from women. They aren't the ones who are constantly saying yes or running after them all the time. They're the ones who have their own lives, their own goals, and aren't afraid to say no when it matters. These men are confident, not because they're trying to impress anyone, but because they understand their own worth. They know they don't need to rely on being nice to get attention. Here's an example. Picture this scenario. You've been talking to a girl for a while. You're always polite, always eager to please, but you never take a stand or challenge her. She begins to see you as someone who's safe, a friend, but not someone who excites her. Now imagine a guy who's confident, maybe a bit unpredictable, and doesn't always do what she expects. This man makes her think, and that's what draws her in. The problem with the nice guy is that he's not presenting a challenge. Women are drawn to men who are a little harder to get, who have their own life and boundaries. If you want to make a woman miss you, stop being the nice guy who's always available. Be a man who has a life outside of her. Be strong, set boundaries, and don't be afraid to walk away if things don't feel right. The power of emotional independence. Emotional independence is one of the most powerful traits you can develop, and it's exactly what women find magnetic. If you're emotionally dependent on her, you're already losing. Here's the truth. Women don't want to feel responsible for your emotional well-being. They want a man who can handle his own emotions, who doesn't rely on her to feel happy or fulfilled. When you're emotionally independent, you don't tie your sense of self-worth to her approval. You don't wait around for her text to feel validated. You have your own sense of direction, purpose, and confidence, and that's what makes you stand out. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care for her or share emotions. It means that your happiness and self-esteem don't fluctuate based on whether she's around or not. Imagine how different your interactions would be if you didn't feel the need to constantly check in with her or need her to fill a void in your life. When you're emotionally independent, you stop relying on external validation. You stop looking for her approval, and instead, you start living for your own goals and desires. Women are drawn to men who are whole on their own, who can stand strong whether she's there or not. This emotional independence creates a certain level of mystery. It's not about being cold or distant, but rather about being secure in who you are. You know what you bring to the table, and you're not afraid to walk away if things aren't right. You're not emotionally tied to the outcome because your sense of fulfillment comes from within. The moment you stop needing her to complete you, you become the man she can't help but respect. Emotional independence makes you less clingy and more attractive because it shows you're not desperate. You're someone who has his own life, his own interests, and his own strength. And women crave that kind of emotional stability. Ultimately, emotional independence is about becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, but for you. When you're fully comfortable with who you are and what you bring to the table, you'll find that women will naturally be drawn to your strength and confidence. They'll see you as a man who can stand on his own 2 feet, and that's the kin. 4, make her feel you're always in control. Let's get one thing straight. If you're not in control of your own emotions, she will never respect you. That's not just how it works. It's how women are wired. You might think you're doing everything right by trying to be sensitive and understanding, but the truth is, women want a man who can hold his ground no matter what. Men, especially nowadays, have fallen into the trap of thinking that being emotionally available and constantly accommodating is the way to win a woman's heart. It's not. And if you're still trying to show her you care every single time she gets upset, you're already putting yourself in a losing position. You need to wake up. If you're constantly reacting to her emotions and trying to fix things for her, you're handing over the power. It's time to step up and start controlling your own emotions, your actions, and even how you approach situations. Being in control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means having the emotional strength to stay calm and composed no matter what happens. It's about being able to navigate conflict or stress without crumbling, losing your cool, or acting out of desperation. When you can stay level-headed while the world around you seems to be falling apart, that's when she'll start seeing you as someone she can rely on. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I'm a nice guy. I care about her feelings. I don't want to hurt her. That's fine, but let me tell you, nobody respects a man who can't control himself. If you're constantly letting her emotions dictate your actions, she'll begin to question your stability and strength. Being in control isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about being steady, strong, and unpredictable in the best way possible. It's time to realize that your emotional control is your greatest asset. The moment you show her that you can handle your own emotions, that you don't need her to fix your problems, or that you aren't going to fall apart when things go wrong, that's when she'll start to see you in a new light. She'll crave the steady, unshakable presence that only comes from a man who's in control. If you're not in control yet, it's time to start now. Take charge of your emotions, your actions, and your life. Stop reacting to her and start leading. You'll be surprised at how much more respect and attraction you'll earn. 5. The secret to being unavailable without being a jerk. Here's a harsh truth that most men ignore. If you're always available, you're not valuable. I get it. You're probably thinking, but I want to spend time with her. I want to show her I care. And while that's fine, it's the wrong approach. Women are not attracted to men who are constantly on standby, waiting for a chance to be with them. If you want her to miss you, you need to learn how to be unavailable, without being a jerk about it. Being unavailable doesn't mean ghosting her or playing mind games. It means having a life outside of her and not dropping everything just to be at her beck and call. When you make her chase a little bit, you're not playing hard to get. You're showing her that you have your own priorities and boundaries. When you're constantly available, it sends the message that you don't have anything better to do, which makes you less intriguing. Here's where men go wrong. They think that if they're always responsive, always saying yes, and always agreeing to whatever she wants, they'll win her over. But guess what? She loses respect for you. It's not about being rude or acting uninterested. It's about having your own life, your own plans, and not being afraid to say no when it doesn't align with your goals. Think about it. When was the last time you were genuinely unavailable? When was the last time you were busy enough to the point where she thought, wow, I haven't heard from him in a while. I wonder what he's up to. That little bit of mystery and space creates attraction. It shows her that you have your own life and that your happiness doesn't depend on her. You don't have to cancel plans or pretend you're busy 24/7, but you can start to prioritize your own time. When you do that, you create the perfect balance between being there when it matters and being just out of reach enough to keep her wanting more. It's the sweet spot where she starts to crave your presence, but she also knows you're not waiting around for her to give you attention. Being unavailable without being a jerk is all about respecting yourself and your time. Set boundaries. Live your life fully and let her come to you when she's ready. Women don't want a man who's easy to get. They want someone who has a life of his own and who's not afraid to be a little distant. 6. Why mystery makes you irresistible. Here's something you probably don't hear often. The less she knows, the more she wants to know. Mystery is a powerful tool when it comes to attraction, and most men underestimate its power. If you're an open book from the get-go, revealing every detail about your life, your likes, your dislikes, and everything in between, you're making yourself easy to figure out. And easy is never intriguing. When women can predict everything you're going to say or do, the excitement fades. They know exactly what to expect from you, and that leads to boredom. But when you keep a little bit of mystery around you, you create intrigue. Women love the unknown. They love the feeling of trying to figure you out, and this is what keeps them coming back. It's not about playing games or being dishonest. It's about being selective with what you share and when you share it. You don't need to spill your entire life story the first time you meet. You don't need to explain every thought or emotion. Keep some things to yourself. This doesn't mean being closed off or emotionally distant, but don't lay everything out on the table at once. When you don't reveal everything right away, it forces her to pay attention. She starts wondering, what's he really like? What's he thinking? And that curiosity makes you more desirable. Women don't like men who are too easy to understand because there's no challenge. A little bit of mystery adds a layer of excitement to your interactions. Think about how you approach a good movie or a great book. The best ones are the ones that leave you on the edge of your seat, wanting to know what happens next. That's the feeling you want to evoke in her, a sense that there's more to discover. If you're always available and an open book, you're no longer that thrilling movie. You're the predictable one that's easy to forget. Mystery also helps create the emotional space you need. It allows you both to miss each other and crave the next encounter. It gives her time to think about you when you're not constantly around. The less you're always available to her, the more she'll want to be around you. So keep a little mystery. Let her uncover you slowly, and you'll be far more irresistible. 7. Don't beg for attention. Demand respect. Here's the harsh reality, and it's something many men fail to see. If you're begging for her attention, you're losing respect. Whether it's constant texting, over-explaining yourself, or trying to be the nice guy who does everything to get her to notice you, begging for attention makes you seem desperate. And desperation is not attractive. The truth is, attention is earned, not begged for. Women don't want a man who's always chasing after them, constantly trying to win their approval or make them notice how much he cares. What they want is a man who stands firm in his own value and doesn't feel the need to jump through hoops to get her to notice him. When you beg for attention, you're showing her that you're dependent on her for validation. And let's be real, nobody respects someone who's constantly seeking validation from others. It's time to shift your mindset. Instead of begging for attention, start demanding respect. The way you demand respect isn't through arrogance or by being rude. It's by being confident in yourself and not settling for less than you deserve. When you show that you value yourself, others will naturally value you. This applies in relationships too. Women will respect you more when they see that you respect yourself enough to set boundaries and not tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your values. If you're constantly seeking her approval, you're not coming from a place of strength. The key to attracting and keeping her attention is by standing firm in who you are, without fear of losing her. This doesn't mean playing hard to get or being manipulative. It's about showing that you are a man who's comfortable with who he is and isn't afraid to walk away if the relationship isn't fulfilling. So instead of always trying to get her to notice you, focus on becoming the type of man who commands respect without saying a word. Be the man who has a purpose, who is not afraid to walk away when necessary, and who isn't relying on her for his happiness. When you do this, you'll naturally become the kind of man she respects, and ultimately, the kind of man she can't stop thinking about. 8. Be a challenge, not a convenience. If you want to keep her attention and make her miss you, you need to stop being so easy to get. Here's the thing. Women aren't attracted to men who are a convenience. They don't want someone who's always there, at their beck and call, ready to do whatever they ask. They want a man who presents a challenge, someone who keeps them on their toes and makes them work for his time and affection. Being a challenge doesn't mean being rude or playing mind games. It means being someone who has his own life, his own goals, and doesn't drop everything just to accommodate her. If you're always available, always saying yes, and always eager to please, you're not exciting. You're just predictable and easy. Think about it. What's exciting in life? The things that take effort, the things you have to work for, the things that aren't handed to you on a silver platter. When a woman has to work a little to get your attention, she'll value it more. If you're always showing up on time, replying immediately, and giving her everything she wants without hesitation, you're basically handing her everything without any effort from her side. And that's boring. The key to being a challenge is to have your own life and stick to your boundaries. When you don't drop everything to accommodate her, you show her that your time is valuable. You have things to do, you have goals, and you're not waiting around for her to give you attention. It creates a level of respect that's hard to get when you're constantly at her service. When you're a challenge, she has to work for your attention and earn your time. This doesn't mean playing games. It means not making her the center of your world and showing that you have a life beyond her. You should never be too available. When you're constantly there and eager to please, she'll start to take you for granted. But when you make her work for it, she'll start to appreciate you more, and she'll crave your attention even more. Being a challenge doesn't mean being distant or cruel. It means being strong enough to not always be the easy choice. When you do this, you become the man she can't easily forget, the man she'll constantly think about. 9. The art of creating emotional space. If you're constantly in her face, always checking in, always trying to make sure she's thinking about you, you're suffocating the attraction. To keep her hooked, you need to learn the art of creating emotional space. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing games. It's about giving her the room to miss you and build her own emotions toward you. Space makes her crave you more. Think of it this way. Emotions are like a pendulum. If it swings too far in one direction, it needs time to swing back. When you're always there, always available, you make it harder for the pendulum to swing. By stepping back and allowing some distance, you create the space for emotions to grow. This isn't about being distant or cold. It's about allowing her to feel that absence in a way that makes her think of you more when you're not around. Creating emotional space means not overloading her with your presence, your texts, or your attention. It's about allowing her time to miss you and to realize how much she values you. When you're always around, it becomes routine. But when you're not, she starts to appreciate what you bring to the table. You're giving her the chance to think about you without overwhelming her. The trick is to give her just enough of you. Don't give everything at once. When you're with her, be fully present. But when you're not, don't force yourself into her thoughts. Allow her to feel your absence and start to long for your next encounter. Too much contact can make her take you for granted. By creating space, you're showing her that your time is valuable, and she'll start to value it too. This emotional space helps to build anticipation. When you're not always available, she begins to wonder when she'll hear from you again. She starts to miss your presence and think about how much she enjoys your time together. Distance makes her appreciate you more, and the less you try to force your presence, the more she'll want it. The key is balance. It's not about ghosting or disappearing for days at a time. It's about creating just the right amount of space where you're still on her mind, but you're not overwhelming her with your presence. Let her miss you. That's where the real attraction lies. 10. Be the man who can walk away. If you want her to miss you, respect you, and crave your presence, you have to be the man who can walk away. It's as simple as that. The moment she knows you're too invested or too dependent on her for your happiness, you lose all your power. The most powerful thing you can do in any situation is to walk away when you feel it's not right. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, nor does it mean leaving at the first sign of trouble. It's about having the strength to walk away when the relationship no longer serves your needs or your values. The ability to walk away is the ultimate sign of self-respect and emotional independence. And that's what attracts women. If you're always the one chasing, always the one who is afraid of losing her, or constantly seeking her validation, she can sense that desperation. When you're too eager to please or afraid to walk away, you're showing her that you have no options and that you're dependent on her for your sense of worth. Women are attracted to men who have their own lives, goals, and ambitions. Men who are not afraid to walk away from a relationship if it's not going the way they want. Being the man who can walk away shows that you value yourself and your time. It's a powerful signal that you're not going to settle for less than you deserve. And the moment she knows you can leave, she'll respect you more. The fear of losing you creates the emotional space she needs to realize your value. This doesn't mean being rude or playing games. It means knowing when to step back. It means understanding that you're a prize and that you won't chase after someone who doesn't appreciate you. When you have the power to walk away, you no longer need to beg for attention, validation, or affection. You're showing her that you're strong enough to stand on your own and that you don't need her to complete you. You're showing her that your time and energy are valuable, and if she's not respecting that, you'll walk away without hesitation. And let me tell you, that's the kind of man who makes women miss you, respect you, and keep coming back. Conclusion, the harsh truth. Here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit. Most men are too soft, too dependent, and too eager to please. They're playing by the wrong rules, hoping to win her affection through constant attention, desperation, and fear of losing her. But guess what? That's not what works. The men who win women's hearts are the ones who respect themselves, set boundaries, and aren't afraid to walk away when things aren't right. If you want to keep a woman hooked, you need to become a man who's emotionally independent, mysterious, and unafraid to stand his ground. I know this might sound harsh, but it's the reality that too many men overlook. If you want to make any woman miss you badly, stop being afraid of losing her. Instead, become the man who can walk away and watch how your value skyrockets. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your experiences. Have you been too eager or too available? How did it affect your relationships? I'll be reaching out personally because I want to connect with you, hear your stories, and help you take things to the next level. You deserve to be the man who keeps her coming back, and I'll help you get there.